So let
and
me
more
give an
powerful.
example like that, and let me ask you how you think you would
Hmm.
break that down into a story, right? So for example, for me, as an artist, I've learned, skill set, while is important, is a very small piece of the puzzle. It really comes down to exposure, right? Because it doesn't matter how good your product is if no one sees it, right?
Hmm.
Um, so one way to do that is using Facebook ads. I've had a couple guests on here who have been able to build entire careers using just Facebook advertising. And for me, I've learned how to start to leverage that in my own career. And right now, I'm expanding into launching my own service where I run these ads for other artists, right? So I charge them, like $99 a campaign. I run their Facebook ads for 2 weeks and help them get that exposure. Now, when it comes to getting them as a client initially, how would I tell my story in a way that would connect with them versus just like, just logistically being like, oh, this is, the numbers and why you should do it. Like, how would I tell that story in a way that could like connect with them and make them feel like, I need to do this?
Sure. So basically, a story that would maybe get people to use your service as marketing, right?
Yeah.
Your marketing service. Um, well, one thing, it sort of depends on how you are branding your service. Is it branded based off you as a person? Is
Or
that
as opposed to what?
as opposed to like a company or organization? Like, do you have a name for it? Is it
So I haven't gotten that far yet,
okay?
right?
So
I'm literally at the point where, my whole business operation is going to be me setting up the ads
mhm.
and hiring salespeople with, you know, passive income commission structures where, I'm going to give them a percentage of reoccurring commissions that come from that client. So they have incentive to grow my client base.
Okay.
And so it could go either route, honestly.
So, but
I haven't
well,
decided yet.
it sounds just based on what you just said that like you are marketing yourself, kind of you're trying to convince people to trust you,
Yeah,
right?
I think that would probably be the move because I can also back up those results with not just screenshots of my results on Spotify, but also actual B-roll of, me performing in Cuba, for example, right? When I can show someone a video of me performing in front of 6,000 people, that builds credibility.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah.
So,
So
so
I would.
probably individually might make more sense,
Mhm.
at least initially.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's totally true. And actually, you kind of always have to break it down to the level of a certain individual because you need that kind of character. So even in the context of a large company, that character might be the CEO, or it might be a fictitious
Figurehead.
character created, yeah, by like Ronald McDonald or something.
Hmm.
There's a million ways you can make it a cartoon, or just simply in an ad, for a company. You're going to be following the story of someone using that product, and they are ultimately successful. So in your case, I think it would make sense to use elements of your story to show how you've learned to use this
Hmm.
service that Facebook ads or whatever other sort of avenues you use in your marketing approach, and you can kind of tell the story of what you found was difficult, and so you're the
Hmm.
character and your goal is to promote yourself, right? And this is like the ad basically.
Yeah.
And so that's the basic level of the story, so that we got a character and a goal, um, and then we can follow your progress on that, and maybe there is a pitfall where you realize that you were doing it all wrong, and then you realize, okay, here's the right way to do it, and now that was you found some success there, and so you can find this success too, based on my knowledge. That's at least just from an initial
Yeah, I
understanding
think
how I would
you're,
kind of
you're
approach it.
totally right. And it's funny is I actually made a sales script, uh, like just using a voice memo, right? I like just wrote a quick, 2 paragraph summary of, who I am, what I'm doing, and why people should be interested. And I think
Mhm.
I intuitively did that. Like I was literally just telling my story. I was just going like, look, like I'm an artist too. I've invested in all these different services. you know, pay, you know, or you know, you can use this Spotify service where you pay $40. You can use, you know, get on this playlist. You can, you know, pay, you know, $100 and get 3,000 Instagram followers. But the problem with all these services is they're fake people. They're not real, right? So you can boost up your numbers to look good, but at the end of the day, if those aren't real people, you're not moving the needle, right?
Sure.
You're only impressing people that don't know any better. Right. So if you want to build and even worse, these platforms will push you out to people that are like your followers. So if your followers are fake, you're not going to get any real exposure. You need to be actually getting your product or service, or in my case, my music, in front of real people, because they're not going to really give a shit if you have 50,000 followers. You know, they want to hear what you have to offer. Right. So it's like, at least for me, you know, I think that storytelling is so important because it's a way for someone to personally connect with me as a human. And I can just be like, look, you know, like, I know how overwhelming this process is. I'm going through it myself. Like, you need something that actually works. I've used a bunch of shit out there that didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, but I found something that did work, and I can also do this for you if you want. I just charge a little fee for it. And, you know, if that's something you want me to help you out with, like, I got you. And that seems way more organic than like, use my service for a 20% return on your invest. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally. Yeah. And, you know, that's a thing about storytelling is, like you were saying, you kind of innately were able to just come up with that story that seemed like a natural thing to do. And it's, you know, storytelling is, again, it's so ingrained in us as human beings. It's something that everyone can relate to, and you know, that everyone pretty much can conceive of.